Spiritual Aliens by David Rousseau. What if the beings we've been searching for across the stars have been waiting for us to recognize them within ourselves? Introduction. A new paradigm. We are living in an age of revelation. Every night, telescopes scan the heavens for signs of life beyond our planet. Governments release long classified footage of unidentified aerial phenomena. Scientists debate the probability of intelligent civilizations scattered across distant galaxies. At the same time, millions of people are meditating, awakening, questioning old belief systems, and searching for deeper meaning. Curiosity about extraterrestrial life and curiosity about higher consciousness are rising together, as if they are threads of the same unfolding story. This audiobook was born at that intersection. Spiritual Aliens is not merely about beings in metallic ships crossing interstellar space. It is about the possibility that what we call aliens may represent something far more intimate and transformative. What if the extraterrestrial mystery is not only out there, but within us? What if the idea of alien contact is a symbol, a metaphor, or even a catalyst for humanity's next spiritual evolution? Throughout history, humanity has lifted its eyes to the sky and asked the same enduring questions. Who are we? Why are we here? Are we alone? Today, those questions feel more urgent than ever. We stand at a crossroads, technologically advanced, globally connected, yet spiritually fragmented. Old paradigms are dissolving, institutions are questioned, narratives once accepted as absolute truth are being re-examined. In this climate of uncertainty, the concept of spiritual aliens emerges as a powerful bridge between two realms: science and mysticism, cosmos and consciousness, the outer universe and the inner self. This book invites you into a new paradigm. In this paradigm, aliens are not only physical beings traveling across galaxies. They may be higher dimensional intelligences, expressions of cosmic consciousness, or mirrors reflecting our untapped potential. They may symbolize the next stage of human awareness, the version of ourselves that has transcended fear, separation, and limitation. Perhaps what feels alien is simply what is unfamiliar within us. Across cultures and centuries, humanity has described encounters with luminous beings, sky gods, angels, star ancestors, and messengers from beyond. Ancient myths speak of visitors descending from the heavens. Sacred texts describe wheels of fire, radiant chariots, and beings of light. Modern experiencers report encounters that blur the lines between science fiction and spiritual revelation. Are these stories evidence of extraterrestrial contact, psychological archetypes, mystical visions, or could they be all of these at once? Rather than offering rigid answers, Spiritual Aliens offers exploration. In the chapters ahead, we will trace the spiritual evolution of humanity and consider whether we are on the brink of a profound shift in consciousness. We will examine the possibility that aliens are interdimensional beings or even future versions of ourselves. We will revisit ancient astronaut theories through a spiritual lens and explore sacred texts that hint at encounters with otherworldly intelligences. We will also step into the modern world of UFO sightings, channeling, meditation, and altered states of awareness. We will explore how quantum physics and consciousness research are beginning to echo insights long held by mystics. We will confront the fear that often accompanies the unknown and ask whether that fear is a doorway rather than a barrier. Most importantly, this journey is not about proving the existence of extraterrestrials. It is about awakening. If aliens exist as advanced civilizations, what might they represent to us spiritually? If they exist as higher dimensional consciousness, how might we align with that frequency? And if the alien is a projection of our own expanding awareness, how do we integrate that realization into daily life? The bridge between two realms is already forming. Science is peering deeper into the cosmos than ever before. Spiritual seekers are diving deeper into consciousness than ever before. The outer universe and inner universe are converging. Perhaps the greatest discovery will not be a signal from a distant star system. Perhaps it will be the recognition that we are part of a vast, intelligent, interconnected cosmos, that the universe is not a cold expanse of empty space, but a living field of awareness in which we participate. To consider spiritual aliens is to consider the possibility that humanity is not a finished product, but a becoming, that evolution is not only biological, but conscious, that the next frontier is not just space but perception. As you listen, I invite you to suspend disbelief without abandoning discernment. Allow wonder to coexist with wisdom. Let questions breathe. You do not have to accept every idea presented here. You only have to remain open, because the unknown is not an enemy. It is an invitation to expand, an invitation to remember, an invitation to become less afraid of what feels, for and more curious about what it may reveal. Whether aliens are star travelers, higher dimensional guides, archetypes of the psyche, or symbols of awakening, one truth remains: the exploration of the cosmos mirrors the exploration of the soul. And both journeys are just beginning. Chapter 1: The Spiritual Evolution of Humanity. Before we can understand the idea of spiritual aliens, we must first understand ourselves. Humanity's story is not only biological, it is spiritual. Long before telescopes and satellites, before rockets pierced the atmosphere, our ancestors stood beneath the night sky and felt something stir within them. Awe, reverence, mystery. The stars were not distant balls of burning gas. They were storytellers, ancestors, gods, and gateways. From the earliest cave paintings to the great temples of the ancient world, human beings have searched for meaning beyond survival. We buried our dead with ceremony. We aligned monuments with constellations. We created myths that linked heaven and earth. These were not primitive superstitions. They were early expressions of cosmic awareness, the intuition that we belonged to something vast and intelligent. In ancient Egypt, the soul was believed to journey among the stars. In Mesoamerican cultures, sky beings shaped the destiny of humankind. Indigenous traditions across the globe spoke of star ancestors and luminous teachers. In the East, mystics described the universe as a living, conscious whole. In the West, philosophers contemplated the music of the spheres. Across geography and time, one theme remained constant. Humanity sensed it was part of a greater cosmic order. Spirituality evolved as our understanding of the world evolved. At first, divinity was seen in nature in thunder, rivers, fire, and sky. Then it became personified in gods and goddesses who governed unseen realms. Later, it was unified into singular concepts of ultimate reality. With the rise of science, many believed spirituality would fade, replaced by rational explanation. Yet something unexpected happened. The deeper science looked into the cosmos, the more mysterious it became. The universe expanded, time bent, matter dissolved into energy. Certainty gave way to wonder once again. Human spiritual evolution is not a straight line from superstition to sophistication. It is a spiral returning to old questions with deeper awareness. Today, we find ourselves at another turning point in that spiral. We are more connected than any civilization before us. Information flows instantly across continents. Images from deep space reach the palms of our hands. We know there are billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars. The probability of life beyond Earth no longer feels like fantasy, it feels statistically inevitable. And yet, alongside this scientific awakening, there is a parallel inner awakening. Meditation has entered the mainstream. Conversations about consciousness, energy, and interconnection are no longer confined to monasteries and mystery schools. People are questioning inherited beliefs and seeking direct experience of truth. Many describe feeling that humanity is on the brink of something, a shift, a leap, a transformation in awareness. This is where the idea of cosmic consciousness emerges. Cosmic consciousness is the realization that the self is not separate from the universe. It is the experience of unity beyond ego, beyond division. Mystics have described it for centuries as enlightenment, awakening, or union with the divine. Today, it is being explored not only in spiritual communities, but in neuroscience labs and philosophical debates. What if humanity's next evolutionary step is not physical, but perceptual? Biological evolution gave us upright posture, opposable thumbs, and complex language. Conscious evolution may give us expanded empathy, intuitive knowing, and a direct sense of interconnectedness with all life. The same way early humans could not imagine the internet or space travel, we may not fully imagine the consciousness that awaits us. From this perspective, aliens take on a new meaning. An alien is simply that which feels unfamiliar. If humanity evolves into a more unified, awakened species, we might appear alien to our former selves. Higher consciousness would seem strange, even impossible, from the standpoint of fear-based awareness. The future human grounded in compassion, attuned to subtle energies, aware of multi-dimensional reality would look otherworldly by today's standards. Perhaps the alien we seek in the sky is a symbol of who we are becoming. The spiritual evolution of humanity suggests that our myths, religions, philosophies, and scientific breakthroughs are not separate threads, but parts of a single tapestry. Each era stretches the boundaries of understanding. Each crisis pushes us to grow. Each discovery invites us to reconsider our place in the cosmos. We are not merely observers of the universe. We are participants in its unfolding. And if consciousness is woven into the fabric of reality itself, then our awakening is not accidental. It is evolutionary. It is necessary. It may even be guided by forces seen or unseen that understand the trajectory of growth better than we do. As we move forward in this journey, hold this possibility gently. Humanity is not lost, broken, or alone in a cold universe. We are in transition. We are remembering something ancient while stepping into something new. The story of spiritual aliens begins with the story of spiritual humanity, because before we can meet beings from the stars, we must first recognize the vastness within ourselves. Chapter 2. What if aliens are us? What if the greatest mystery of the cosmos is not who is out there but who we are becoming? For decades, the dominant image of aliens has been physical, biological beings traveling in advanced spacecraft from distant star systems. But as our understanding of consciousness expands, another possibility emerges. What if extraterrestrials are not merely physical visitors crossing space, but interdimensional intelligences, crossing states of awareness? To explore this idea, we must stretch beyond the limits of three-dimensional thinking. Modern physics suggests that reality be far more layered than our senses reveal. Dimensions beyond length, width, and height are not just spiritual metaphors, they are mathematical possibilities. If higher dimensions exist, life within them would not necessarily appear solid or mechanical to us. It might appear as light, as energy, as thought, as presence. In this framework, aliens may not be strangers from distant planets, but expressions of consciousness, operating at frequencies beyond ordinary perception. And here is where the idea becomes even more radical. What if those higher dimensional beings are deeply connected to us? Some experiencers describe encounters not with monstrous invaders, but with luminous, compassionate intelligences that feel strangely familiar. They speak of telepathic communication, of downloads of insight, of overwhelming sensations of unity. These encounters often blur the line between extraterrestrial contact and spiritual awakening. It raises an intriguing question. Could these beings be future versions of humanity, or aspects of our own collective consciousness reaching back toward us? Time, as we experience it, moves in a straight line. But if time is more fluid than it appears if past, present, and future coexist in ways we barely comprehend, then it is conceivable that advanced forms of human consciousness could interact with earlier stages of itself. The alien, in this sense, is not foreign. It is evolved. This perspective reframes the entire narrative of contact. Instead of invasion, we consider integration. Instead of domination, we consider guidance. Instead of separation, we consider continuity. The concept of the alien within becomes central. Every human being carries untapped potential, latent intuition, expanded empathy, creative intelligence beyond conditioning. Mystics throughout history have spoken of the higher self, the oversoul, the divine spark. Psychology speaks of the unconscious and archetypal forces that shape perception. Quantum theories hint at entanglement, suggesting that separation may be more illusion than fact. What if alien encounters are symbolic awakenings, moments when the boundaries of identity dissolve and we glimpse a greater version of ourselves? In dreams, meditation, near-death experiences, and altered states of consciousness, people frequently report encounters with non-human intelligences. Yet these encounters often leave them transformed, more compassionate, more aware, less afraid of death, more attuned to unity. The experience feels external, but the change is internal. Perhaps the encounter is both. Interdimensional spirituality proposes that consciousness is fundamental, that matter arises from awareness, not the other way around. If that is true, then advanced consciousness would not be bound by the same limitations we are. It could communicate through symbols, visions, or subtle energetic impressions. It might appear in forms our minds can comprehend, humanoid figures, beings of light, archetypal shapes. The appearance may be shaped by us. This does not dismiss the possibility of physical extraterrestrials. The universe is vast beyond imagination, but it expands the lens. It allows for the possibility that the alien phenomenon is multidimensional, part biological, part psychological, part spiritual, and if so, it becomes a mirror reflecting who we are beneath conditioning, a mirror revealing how much of reality exists beyond the narrow bandwidth of our senses, a mirror inviting us to evolve. The word alien simply means foreign, unfamiliar, other. Yet throughout history, what was once alien often became integrated. New ideas, new cultures, new technologies, even new stages of human identity. The unfamiliar initially frightens us because it destabilizes the known, but it also stretches us. Maybe the alien is not here to conquer us. Maybe it is here to awaken us. Or more accurately, maybe it is awakening within us. If we are multidimensional beings having a three-dimensional experience, then contact is not an event to wait for in the sky. It is a realization unfolding in consciousness. It is the recognition that we are more than flesh and bone, more than isolated individuals on a small planet, more than accidental byproducts of cosmic chance. We may be participants in a vast network of awareness, one that transcends space, time, and form. And if that is true, then the question shifts from are we alone to something far more intimate. How much of ourselves have we yet to discover? Chapter 3. The Ancient Astronaut Theory Revisited. Long before satellites orbited Earth and astronauts walked on the moon, ancient civilizations were already looking to the sky with reverence and recording what they saw. Across continents and cultures separated by oceans and centuries, humanity told remarkably similar stories. Luminous beings descending from the heavens, sky chariots roaring with fire, gods who came from the stars to teach, guide, or judge. These accounts were woven into myth, scripture, and sacred art for generations. They were interpreted symbolically, spiritually, theologically. But what if some of these stories were attempts to describe encounters that defied the language of their time? The ancient astronaut theory proposes that certain myths and religious narratives may have been inspired by contact with advanced, non-human intelligences. While often framed in strictly extraterrestrial terms, we can revisit this theory through a spiritual lens, one that does not reduce ancient people to naive observers, but honors them as interpreters of profound experiences. Consider the ancient Sumerian texts describing the Anunnaki beings associated with the heavens who influenced early civilization, or the intricate carvings of Mesoamerican temples, depicting figures descending from the sky. In India's epic literature, the Vimanas are described as flying crafts capable of extraordinary feats. Across Africa, Australia, and the Americas, indigenous traditions speak of star ancestors who seeded wisdom and culture. Were these purely mythological metaphors, spiritual visions, encounters with advanced visitors, or some combination of all three? In the Hebrew Bible, the prophet Ezekiel describes a vision of wheels within wheels, radiant beings, and a throne of fire descending from the sky. For centuries, theologians interpreted this as symbolic imagery of divine glory. In the 20th century, some readers began asking whether such descriptions sounded curiously technological, yet perhaps the more powerful question is not whether Ezekiel saw a spacecraft, but whether he experienced an encounter with a reality so far beyond ordinary perception that he could only describe it using the symbols available to him. Language shapes experience. Experience shapes belief. In Hindu texts, gods descend in dazzling forms, wielding weapons of light and traveling between realms. In Buddhist cosmology, multiple planes of existence coexist beyond ordinary sight. In Christian tradition, angels appear suddenly, luminous and overwhelming, delivering messages that alter the course of history. In Islamic tradition, the Prophet Muhammad describes a night journey through the heavens guided by a celestial being, whether understood as divine, extraterrestrial, or interdimensional, a pattern emerges. Humanity has long perceived intelligence beyond itself interacting with the human story. The modern mind often separates mythology from reality, but ancient cultures did not experience such a divide. The spiritual and the physical were intertwined. The sky was not empty space, it was alive with meaning. A being descending from the heavens was not categorized as alien or angel. It was simply part of a cosmos infused with consciousness. Perhaps our contemporary debate about extraterrestrials is a new chapter in an ancient conversation. If advanced intelligences did interact with early humanity, whether physically or through altered states of consciousness, the impact would have been profound. Imagine encountering technology indistinguishable from magic. Imagine witnessing a being who radiates light, communicates telepathically, and possesses knowledge beyond comprehension. How would you record it? How would you explain it to your people? You would use the language of gods. Revisiting the ancient astronaut theory does not require abandoning spiritual interpretation. Instead, it invites expansion. What if gods, angels, and sky beings were multidimensional intelligences, engaging with humanity at different stages of development? What if ancient encounters were both spiritual and extraterrestrial, manifestations of consciousness that transcended categories we now rigidly separate? There is also another possibility. What if these stories reflect humanity's recurring contact with higher states of awareness? Mystics across traditions have described ascending into luminous realms, encountering radiant beings, and receiving knowledge that transforms civilization. The descent from the heavens may symbolize not only beings arriving from above, but consciousness descending into human understanding. In that sense, ancient astronaut narratives become archetypal. They speak to humanity's longing for guidance, our openness to revelation, and our intuition that we are not alone in the vastness. As we revisit these stories, we are not trying to prove or disprove literal alien visitation. We are recognizing that our ancestors experienced something extraordinary, something that compelled them to carve, write, and preserve their encounters for future generations. Perhaps they were leaving us a message, a reminder that the boundary between heaven and earth is thinner than we think, that intelligence may permeate the cosmos in ways we are only beginning to grasp, that what we call alien today may have once been called divine. And as we stand in the modern world armed with science, yet still searching for meaning, we may be rediscovering what ancient civilizations always sensed. The universe has always been speaking. The question is whether we are ready to hear it in a new way. Chapter 4. Messages from the Stars Channeling Alien Wisdom. In our modern age, stories of contact with extraterrestrial intelligences are no longer confined to myth, scripture, or speculation. They are being reported with increasing frequency, and in ways that challenge our understanding of reality. People describe not only seeing unidentified craft or beings, but receiving information, guidance, insights, even spiritual teachings from what they perceive as alien consciousness. These encounters take many forms. Some are sudden and startling, a glowing figure in a remote field, a strange craft hovering silently overhead, or an inexplicable sensation of presence. Others are subtler, unfolding over time through dreams, visions, or meditative states. Many experiencers report feeling a profound sense of purpose and interconnectedness after such encounters, as if they have been touched by intelligence far beyond their own. One of the most fascinating avenues through which humans report receiving extraterrestrial wisdom is channeling. Channeling is the process by which an individual, often called a medium or psychic, allows themselves to act as a conduit for higher consciousness. While historically associated with spirits or angels, many modern channels describe communicating with beings who identify themselves as extraterrestrial, interdimensional, or from higher vibrational planes. These entities often offer guidance about spiritual growth, the evolution of consciousness, and humanity's role in the greater cosmos. What makes these messages compelling is their consistency. Across continents and cultures, channelers report similar themes: the importance of unity, the need to transcend fear, the recognition that humanity is at a pivotal point in its spiritual evolution. and the call to expand awareness beyond the limitations of the physical senses. Whether interpreted literally or metaphorically, these communications invite reflection on how consciousness interacts with reality and how the universe itself may be more intelligent and responsive than we have been taught to believe. Modern UFO sightings and encounters also often include a sense of communication beyond words. People describe telepathy, symbolic visions, or intuitive downloads of information. In many cases, the beings encountered do not speak in the way we expect. Their language is direct transmission of knowledge, feeling, or understanding. It is a kind of wisdom that bypasses conventional thought, speaking to intuition, ethics, and expanded perception. The question arises, are these experiences purely psychological, a product of imagination or archetypal structures in the mind? Or do they reflect real contact with intelligences, operating on planes we cannot yet measure? Perhaps it is both. Perhaps the mind and the cosmos are more intertwined than we realize, and these messages are at once external and internal, guiding us toward awareness we are not yet accustomed to. Channeling and encounters challenge us to reconsider what we define as reality and knowledge. They suggest that wisdom does not always come through textbooks or institutions. It can arrive unbidden, directly from consciousness beyond our own. The recurring theme is that humanity is not alone, not just physically, but spiritually. The stars may not only be inhabited by life forms, they may be the source of guidance, encouragement, and insight into the very evolution of our species. As we explore these messages from the stars, we begin to understand that contact is not just an event, it is a doorway into higher awareness, expanded intuition, and the realization that the universe is alive, intelligent, and eager to participate in our growth. The extraterrestrial message, in essence, is an invitation to awaken, to remember, and to align ourselves with the larger consciousness that connects us all. Chapter 5. Alien Consciousness and Meditation. If signals from beyond our world are reaching us, how might we become receptive to them? The answer may not depend on advanced instruments or distant observation, but on turning inward. Meditation, traditionally valued for cultivating peace and insight, may also serve as a gateway to perceiving non-human or higher dimensional forms of awareness. Through meditation, we learn to quiet mental noise and step beyond habitual thinking. In that stillness, perception becomes more refined, intuition grows stronger, and unfamiliar or otherworldly experiences can begin to make sense. Many individuals who describe encounters with non-physical intelligences report entering deeply calm or focused states beforehand. In these moments, the presence they encounter often seems to align with their level of awareness, almost as if it meets them where they are. States of altered consciousness reached through meditation, lucid dreaming, or other means frequently involve interactions with intelligences that challenge ordinary frameworks of understanding. These experiences tend to stretch our sense of identity and distort our perception of time. People often come away with insights or knowledge that feel undeniably real, even if they cannot be proven through conventional sensory evidence. Meditation may function as a kind of interface between the human mind and these expanded forms of awareness. By softening the ego, directing attention inward, and becoming sensitive to subtle energetic patterns, we may begin to perceive consciousness beyond everyday limits. What we interpret as alien may not be separate beings at all, but expressions of consciousness, itself dimensions of reality. We are only beginning to recognize. This process is not automatic. It calls for discipline, clarity of intention, and a strong ethical foundation. Through meditation, we develop qualities that support meaningful connection, awareness, compassion, discernment, and openness. In this sense, contact is not something that simply happens to us. It becomes a collaborative experience, shaped by both human perception and a broader field of intelligence. Those who undergo such experiences often report lasting changes, a deepened sense of unity with life, heightened intuitive abilities, and a conviction that the universe is not inert, but aware and responsive. These accounts closely resemble descriptions from ancient spiritual traditions, where practitioners encountered luminous or transcendent beings in states of deep contemplation. The parallels hint at a shared, human pathway, one that transcends time and culture. In the end, meditation offers a grounded and accessible way to explore the unknown. It suggests that what lies beyond us may also exist within us. By cultivating stillness and listening with full attention, we may begin to access forms of wisdom that extend beyond ordinary perception. Seen this way, meditation becomes more than a personal practice. It becomes a tool for transformation. It holds the potential to unlock not only the mysteries of the mind, but also deeper truths about the universe, hinting that what we call alien may be far closer than we imagine. Chapter 6: The Science of Consciousness. How aliens could help us understand ourselves. Understanding the mind may be one of humanity's greatest challenges and, perhaps, its greatest opportunity. Historically, science and spirituality have approached reality from opposite directions, one grounded in measurable phenomena, the other in subjective experience. Today, those boundaries are beginning to dissolve, opening new possibilities for interpreting both consciousness and the idea of extraterrestrial intelligence. Advances in physics have revealed a universe far more complex than once imagined. At the quantum level, reality behaves in ways that defy common sense. Particles exist in multiple states. Outcomes depend on observation, and the structure of space and time is far from fixed. Increasingly, some thinkers propose that consciousness is not just a byproduct of the brain, but a fundamental aspect of reality itself. This perspective echoes long-standing philosophical and spiritual views that awareness plays an active role in shaping existence. Reports of encounters with non-human intelligence often reflect these same themes. Experiences such as telepathic exchange, altered time perception, and sudden, profound understanding suggest interactions that operate outside ordinary human limitations. In this light, such encounters may not only point outward to unknown beings, but inward to untapped aspects of human potential. What if advanced intelligence does not rely primarily on physical tools, but on mastery of consciousness? Instead of machines, the true technology could be the mind itself, the ability to access information, influence reality, or move across dimensions through awareness alone. If so, humanity may still be in the early stages of developing these capacities, and accounts of alien contact might serve as glimpses of what is possible. This viewpoint shifts the narrative. Rather than seeing alien phenomena as external threats or curiosities, they can be understood as catalyst experiences that challenge assumptions and encourage growth. They push us to reconsider the nature of reality and to recognize that perception is not passive, but participatory. Scientific disciplines are gradually moving towards similar conclusions. Fields like neuroscience, physics, and cosmology are beginning to intersect in their exploration of consciousness. Some researchers now entertain the idea that awareness is woven into the structure of the universe itself. From this perspective, encounters with non-human intelligence, whether literal or symbolic, can be seen as opportunities to expand perception and engage with deeper layers of reality. At its core, this exploration raises a fundamental question. If consciousness extends beyond individual minds, what does that imply about who we are? The answer may not come solely from external discovery, but from direct experience. By investigating the nature of awareness, we may come to see that what appears alien is not entirely separate from us, but a reflection of our own unrealized capabilities. Human evolution may not hinge on traveling to distant worlds, but on expanding our inner landscape. Curiosity, attention, and openness may prove to be the most important tools we have. Each encounter with the unknown, whether internal or external, offers a chance to better understand the vast potential of the mind and the deeper intelligence of the universe itself. Chapter 7: Extraterrestrials as Guides to Spiritual Awakening. Imagine a presence that moves not to conquer, but to guide, not to impose, but to illuminate. Throughout human history, countless traditions have described beings of extraordinary intelligence and light who appear at pivotal moments to offer wisdom and support. Angels, ascended masters, star ancestors. These figures may be interpreted as expressions of higher consciousness, and modern encounters with extraterrestrial beings suggest a similar role, guides helping humanity awaken to its own latent potential. Reports of contact often emphasize teaching rather than coercion. Individuals describe receiving insights about empathy, unity, and the nature of reality. They speak of beings who seem to operate from a state of pure awareness, able to transmit understanding directly to the mind, bypassing conventional language. These experiences hint at a possibility that extraterrestrial intelligence, whether physical, interdimensional, or symbolic, might function as a bridge, helping humanity access states of consciousness we cannot yet fully grasp. The idea of intergalactic ascension reframes human evolution as more than biological growth. Just as spiritual teachers guide us toward inner enlightenment, these encounters may offer a glimpse of what humanity could become. They encourage the development of qualities essential for higher awareness: compassion, discernment, courage, and an expansive sense of connection. In many ways, the alien guides mirror the archetypal role of mentors, sages, or spiritual masters, but on a cosmic scale. Consider how these experiences affect individuals. People report sudden shifts in perception, heightened intuition, and a sense of responsibility for collective well-being. Many describe feeling interconnected with life across the planet, and even beyond it, as if the universe itself were alive and responsive. Encounters with extraterrestrial intelligence often catalyze profound inner transformation, suggesting that their role is not merely observational, but participatory. They help awaken latent aspects of human consciousness. There is also a symbolic aspect. If aliens represent higher states of awareness, their presence is a mirror for our own potential. We may fear what we do not understand, projecting otherness onto these beings. Yet the wisdom they convey may reflect capacities already within us: creativity, empathy, intuition, and the ability to perceive reality beyond linear time. In essence, the alien becomes a teacher. We meet outside ourselves to recognize the teacher within. This guidance may not always be gentle. Encounters often challenge beliefs, disrupt patterns, and confront fears. But the intention seems consistent: to expand perception, to encourage awakening, and to invite humans into a broader understanding of consciousness. They remind us that evolution is not merely physical or technological, but spiritual, and that our growth is linked to the development of awareness itself. Ultimately, extraterrestrials, as spiritual guides, offer a new paradigm for understanding contact. They are not invaders or distant curiosities, they are catalysts, mirrors, and teachers, reflecting both the universe's intelligence and humanity's potential. Through them, we glimpse a future in which consciousness expands beyond limitation, fear gives way to understanding, and humanity moves closer to unity with the cosmos. The question is no longer whether they exist, but whether we are ready to learn from them and, more importantly, whether we are ready to learn from ourselves. Chapter 8: The Fear of the Unknown. Spiritual growth in the face of alien contact. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in the human experience. It shapes decisions, limits exploration, and keeps us tethered to the familiar. When it comes to the idea of alien contact, fear often takes center stage. Movies, media, and popular culture portray extraterrestrials as invaders or threats, triggering deep-seated anxieties about survival, control, and the unknown. Yet, if we look closer, fear may not be a warning, it may be a teacher. The unknown challenges us because it exposes the limits of what we think we know. It forces us to confront uncertainty, to question assumptions, and to examine the beliefs that form the foundation of our identity. Encounters with alien consciousness, whether physical, interdimensional, or symbolic, serve as a mirror for this inner process. They provoke fear not because danger is inherent, but because they confront the ego with evidence that reality is far more vast, complex, and intelligent than our ordinary perception allows. Spiritual traditions throughout history have emphasized the transformative power of fear. Mystics describe it as a doorway, a threshold through which consciousness must pass to expand. The presence of something unfamiliar, something seemingly alien, invites us to move beyond automatic reactions, to cultivate courage, and to embrace uncertainty as part of our evolution. In this sense, alien encounters are not simply external events, they are reflections of the internal challenge to grow beyond limitation, Transforming fear into love is the next step. This does not mean ignoring danger or naively accepting all experiences. It means engaging with the unknown consciously, observing the emotions it triggers, and choosing to respond with awareness rather than instinct. Fear becomes a compass, pointing toward areas where growth is possible. Love, in this context, is a form of expanded perception, a recognition of connection, a willingness to trust intelligence beyond immediate understanding, and an openness to guidance from sources we may not yet fully comprehend. Many experiencers report that once fear is transformed, encounters shift in quality. Beings that once seemed threatening are perceived as benevolent, teaching, or guiding. Challenges become opportunities. What initially felt alien becomes familiar, not because the external reality changed, but because consciousness itself expanded. The process mirrors spiritual awakening in every tradition, the path of moving from separation, anxiety, and mistrust to unity, insight, and compassion. Ultimately, the fear of the unknown is a universal test. Alien contact, literal or symbolic, simply amplifies it. But within this amplification lies potential, the potential to face our deepest insecurities, to awaken latent capacities, and to step into a broader understanding of reality. It is a reminder that the universe is alive, intelligent, and mysterious, and that our own growth depends not on eliminating fear, but on meeting it with curiosity, discernment, and love. By learning to move through fear, we prepare ourselves for the full spectrum of experience, whether it comes from the stars, the mind, or the soul itself. Fear becomes a doorway, and beyond it lies a universe of wisdom waiting to be integrated. Chapter 9. Practical steps to align with alien wisdom. If extraterrestrial intelligence or higher dimensional consciousness is reaching out to humanity, how can we attune ourselves to it? How do we receive guidance without fear, interpretation without distortion, and insight without confusion? The answer lies not in waiting for a spacecraft to appear in the sky, but in cultivating the inner conditions that allow awareness to expand and perception to deepen. In short, we must prepare ourselves spiritually, mentally, and energetically. The first step is presence, meditation, mindful breathing, and conscious observation of the moment help quiet the constant chatter of the mind. When the ego is still, we become sensitive to subtle energies, intuitive nudges, and synchronistic events. These are often the channels through which guidance, whether symbolic or literal, arrives. Presence allows us to discern, rather than react, when the unfamiliar presents itself. Next is intentional openness. Aligning with alien wisdom requires curiosity without judgment. It requires embracing questions even if answers are unclear. By opening the mind and heart, we allow ourselves to perceive patterns, insights, or intuitions that might otherwise go unnoticed. Many experiencers describe moments of inspiration or understanding that feel as though they come from outside themselves, messages that are both personal and universal. Integration is the next essential practice. Receiving insight is only the beginning. Applying it is what transforms consciousness. Journaling experiences, reflecting on intuitive impressions, and experimenting with new ways of being help anchor the guidance into daily life. Spiritual evolution is not theoretical, it is embodied. By acting on what we perceive, we solidify alignment with higher intelligence. Another powerful practice is expanded awareness through altered states. Meditation, breathwork, lucid dreaming, and even careful exploration of natural psychedelic experiences can temporarily lift the veil of ordinary perception. In these states, many report encounters with entities, symbols, or energies that carried profound wisdom. These experiences are not ends in themselves. They are tools to stretch the mind and open the heart. Developing discernment and ethical alignment is equally important. Not every experience or message may be beneficial. Alien or interdimensional guidance, like spiritual guidance in any form, must be filtered through clarity, integrity, and love. Asking, does this guidance encourage growth, compassion, and unity? Is a practical and necessary question. Finally, practice humility and gratitude. Aligning with higher intelligence requires acknowledging that we are part of a vast cosmos, and that the universe may contain wisdom far beyond our current understanding. gratitude, and reverence create resonance with consciousness beyond the self, strengthening the connection to insight, guidance, and the subtle intelligence around and within us. By cultivating presence, openness, integration, expanded awareness, discernment, and gratitude, we create the conditions for alignment with alien wisdom. This alignment is not a passive experience, it is an active partnership, a co-creative dialogue between human consciousness and the greater intelligence of the cosmos. In doing so, we step into a new paradigm, one in which the unknown is no longer threatening, the alien is no longer distant, and the universe itself becomes a living guide. Each practice brings us closer to recognizing that the wisdom we seek in the stars has always been available within us, waiting to awaken, waiting to guide, and waiting to transform the way we experience life, ourselves, and the cosmos. Chapter 10: A New Vision for Earth and the Cosmos. Imagine a world in which humanity no longer perceives itself as separate from the stars, the planet, or the flow of life itself. Imagine a future in which consciousness, not conflict, shapes our evolution, and understanding, not fear, guides our actions. This is the vision that emerges when we align with the wisdom of higher intelligence. Whether we call it extraterrestrial, interdimensional, or simply the next stage of human awareness, humanity has long looked outward, searching for meaning in distant galaxies, advanced civilizations, and cosmic mysteries. Yet the deeper truth is that the universe is not somewhere out there. It exists within us as well. Every human mind is a node of awareness, a reflection of the larger cosmic intelligence. When we awaken to this interconnectedness, we begin to see that our choices, thoughts, and intentions ripple across the earth and into the universe itself. A new vision for the cosmos begins with a new vision for ourselves. It asks us to recognize that evolution is not merely biological or technological, but conscious. It invites us to cultivate empathy, expand perception, and embrace unity across differences. Extraterrestrial or higher dimensional guides, real, symbolic, or archetypal, serve as reminders that intelligence, wisdom, and love are universal forces, accessible to all who seek them. This vision also reframes our role on Earth. We are not passive observers of the natural world. We are participants in its unfolding. Each act of kindness, each choice toward cooperation, each effort to expand understanding, contributes to a greater resonance of consciousness. The health of our planet, the harmony of our communities, and the evolution of our species are interconnected with the awareness we cultivate within ourselves. Looking to the stars, we may realize that humanity's potential is not limited to survival. It is creative, exploratory, and expansive. Advanced intelligence, whether in other worlds or other dimensions, may exist not to dominate but to inspire, showing us that evolution and enlightenment are possible. By observing their wisdom and integrating it into our lives, we can align with forces that encourage unity, insight, and spiritual growth. The new vision is ultimately a call to partnership with the earth, with one another, and with consciousness itself. It asks us to dream beyond scarcity, fear, and division, and to imagine a universe in which intelligence, love, and awareness are the guiding principles. It reminds us that every individual has a role in co-creating a unified, awakened future, not just for humanity, but for the cosmos as a whole. As we stand at this threshold, the possibilities are limitless. The stars remind us of what is possible, but the real transformation begins within. By aligning with higher consciousness through mindfulness, meditation, compassion, and courage, we step into a reality where the unknown becomes familiar, the alien becomes teacher, and humanity awakens to its full potential as a conscious, co-creative participant in the universe. The cosmos is calling. The invitation is clear: to awaken, to expand, and to imagine a world and a universe built on love, wisdom, and unity. Conclusion: embracing the unknown, we began this journey looking outward toward the stars, toward the possibility of life beyond our planet. And yet, in the end, the greatest exploration is inward. The alien we seek in the cosmos may also be the unrecognized potential within ourselves, the capacity for expanded awareness, deeper compassion, and a consciousness attuned to the vast intelligence of the universe. Embracing the unknown is not about abandoning discernment or reason, it is about cultivating courage, curiosity, and openness. It is about learning to sit with mystery without immediately labeling it, judging it, or trying to control it. The unknown, whether it appears as extraterrestrial intelligence, altered states of consciousness, or the hidden depths of our own mind, is not an obstacle. It is an invitation. This invitation asks us to step beyond fear and separation, to recognize that every encounter with the unfamiliar is also a mirror of our own evolution. The beings, messages, or visions we perceive from beyond are not always literal. Sometimes they are symbols, archetypes, or expressions of universal truth guiding us toward higher awareness. Sometimes they are glimpses of a reality we have not yet learned to fully perceive. To walk this path is to participate in a transformation larger than ourselves. It is to expand our perception, integrate higher wisdom, and live with an awareness that every action, thought, and choice contributes to the collective evolution of humanity and the cosmos. It is to align with intelligence that is not confined to our planet, not limited by time, and not bound by the familiar. As you continue on your own journey, remember this. Wonder and skepticism can coexist. Curiosity and discernment can walk hand in hand. The universe does not demand blind faith. It offers experiences, questions, and guidance for those willing to listen. The unknown is not to be feared, it is to be explored, revered, and embraced. This audiobook is only a beginning. The invitation now rests with you to explore further, to meditate more deeply, to notice the subtle messages in your life, and to open yourself to the possibility that consciousness itself is far vaster, more intelligent, and more interconnected than we have yet imagined. The stars, the mind, the spirit, they are all calling. The question is whether we will answer, whether we will allow the unfamiliar to guide us, inspire us, and awaken the latent potential that has always been within us. The unknown is not empty. It is alive, and it is waiting for you to step forward.